Let's kick things off with our spin. And our first two materials are in quilting cotton and grommets. Already I'm feeling like these materials can kind of work together,
yes.
Which I'm excited about. So I'm curious, what were your first thoughts with quilting cotton and grommets?
Quilting cotton I've got plenty of, yes. So I was okay with that. Grommets, actually I didn't have any, so I had to go and get it. I'm like, not done an eyelet in such a long time.
Yes. This is Material Whirl, a DIY podcast where surprise supplies meet maximum creativity. I'm your host, Kelly Bryden, and each week I am joined with a guest to craft something unique out of 3 random materials. The ideas are hot, the glue is hotter. Let's whirl. Hello everyone, my name is Kelly Bryden. I am a DIYer, a designer, a craft club host, and someone who has a running list on their phone of probably 45 DIY projects that I want to get done that somehow just keep piling up and I never get to all of them. And today my guest crafter is Kavitha. And Kavitha is a sustainable maker. She uses crafting as a form of activism to improve people's well-being, which she believes leads to the planet's well-being. I agree. Yes. She has been sewing since she was 12 and was also a cartoonist when she was younger. Now she is an amateur photographer, a newbie watercolorist, and a serial crafter. Kavitha, I'm so excited to have you on the podcast today.
Hello.
And I wholeheartedly agree that crafting just makes for a better well-being. And I think everyone should practice creativity like they practice exercise. And I love that you're interested in all different types of crafting. But I want you to tell me a little bit more about sewing.
Okay, so sewing is my passion, if you like, it defines me.
Mm-hmm.
I started sewing when I was 12 and nobody in my family sews.
Oh.
So my mom does a bit of embroidery and mending, but we've never learned dressmaking and nobody in the family has got any connections to it. So she was surprised when I said I want to go for dressmaking classes. She was like, why do you want to do that? I had no teachers in the area. There was only one lady who taught and she only taught adults. And she would not take me on as a student. I had to hassle her for weeks on end before she relented and said yes. I would turn up every week saying, can I come to a class, please?
Yes.
And she'd be like, no, I don't teach kids. And it went on for a few weeks before she said, okay, fine, I'll teach you. And from then day on, I was like, this is it for me. Yeah, this is it. So I majored, my secondary school was in dressmaking. I moved schools just so that I could go to that class. And I was my top in my class. I was a gold medalist, and I was like, yay! And my dad was like, right, okay, now back to university, regular stuff. And I'm like, not for me, Dad.
Yeah.
But that love of sewing has never left me. So I've been continuing to sew. Every spare moment I get, I'm like, oh, what can I do? I'm like you, constantly looking at ideas. Oh, I'd make that one day.
Yeah.
It's always
bookmark it.
Yeah.
And so from all of your sewing passion, you now offer sewing workshops?
Yes. So I teach people to sew, mend, and upcycle mindfully in a way to help them manage their stress and anxiety.
That's amazing.
So, I don't want it to be like haute couture, like top-notch work. It's about make, do, and mend, but also kind of focus on the slowness of it, the every stitch, just focusing on that. It's about the zen that comes with it.
And I have to ask, do you offer it to all ages?
I offer it to all ages. So I do kids classes starting from 7+ all the way to whatever age you are. I run them as around my kitchen table in my home or in my local venue near me, or I run them as corporate workshops.
Amazing.
And so I take it to offices because I feel like they're stressed.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure on them and they don't get that many opportunities to exercise their creative brain. And I think everybody should be doing creative work of some sort or the other.
Yeah. And I agree totally about practicing creativity and it's great for your mental well-being. But I also think everyone should know how to put a button on.
Exactly. I think we should know, I think some of these skills are basic life skills. And if you own a piece of clothing, then you should know how to maintain it. That's my premise. But unfortunately, the schooling system in the UK has systematically removed it from the education. Our parents don't sew anymore. It was a major shift that happened between the 30s and the 40s when all the mainstream modern day production happened, and then everybody's like, oh, I don't need to sew anymore, I can just buy. And that led to a depletion of skills, which now we need to bring back.
Totally.
And so for me, it's an opportunity to connect with 20 somethings and 30 somethings to say, let's sit and put a button together. And most people are like, which way does it go again? And I'm like,
exactly. Well, this week we are taking on the challenge together. We've already revealed our first two materials, which was quilting cotton and grommets. So let's reveal our last material. And our last material is chalk, making this week's materials quilting cotton, grommets, and chalk. So I have to be honest, the chalk threw me off because it's something you use as a tool, where the other ones are things you can do things with. And I kept going back and forth on how I could incorporate chalk into my project. So I'm curious, was this your similar thought?
I had the same trouble. I kept thinking, how do I put chalk in? So I've used chalk as something that is not a direct but something that lends itself to chalk.
Okay, well, I'm excited to see what you've come up with. Yes, it's spinning these wheels and seeing these materials. You see the first one and I'm like, oh, I'm excited. I see the second one and I'm like, okay. And then by the time we get to the third, I'm like, oh no.
What am I going to do
what
with
am
that?
I going to do?
Spin again.
But I'm very thankful that you took on this challenge with me, and I understand it's a little bit of a different way to work.
Yes, it's not something. Usually I have a Pinterest board full of ideas, and then I'm like, I'd like to make that today. But today has been like, oh, I've been given these. What am
I gonna do? 100%. Well, we've revealed our materials, quilting cotton, grommets, and chalk, and now it is time to reveal our projects. So, Kavitha, I'm going to do a little drum roll.
Okay.
Are you ready to reveal?
Yes. Okay, here it is.
Gorgeous.
So it is a climbing chalk bag.
Amazing.
So it has two layers, an inside which has belt loops, so you can put it on your loop. And the inside is where your chalk will go. And it has the grommets.
Amazing.
And this was, when you tuck it in, put it on your hip, and you go bouldering.
And so, are you a rock climber?
My sons have just started their climbing lessons, their bouldering lessons at the local one. So I think that's why it was on my mind.
Yes.
So when I said chalk bag, chalk pouch, I was like, oh, I know I can make a chalk bag. And then I put the grommets in.
Yes. So, and it's so true. It just finishes it off.
And
it makes everything just look like more polished. I love it.
Thank you.
And I also am a fan of the two different types of fabrics together.
So this fabric, again, both the fabrics are being rescued from landfill. So people throw away cotton and I rescue them in my local area. And I've got about 18 to 20 kilos of fabrics rescued. Wow. So if you ever need fabrics, you know where to come. So this was a piece of quilting cotton. I didn't have much. I had like maybe a fat quarter. And then this, I don't know what it is. It has got cord on one side and a waterproof
shiny
finish, like some sort of water repellent finish on the other side. And I don't know what they would use it for. So I thought the inside of that would be good for chalk because then it won't stick to the fabric. And then I've only kind of tacked them together very lightly, but I can separate them and put them in the wash. So I've not kind of secured it completely so that you can just wash it separately. And this is from an old jacket, the cord.
Oh.
Because I always salvage what I can before I recycle them.
Yes.
So anything you recycle, a garment, because it has so many different components to it.
Yeah.
Some of it is plastic, some of it is button, you can't just recycle it.
Yeah.
They have to take it apart. So what I do is I harvest everything.
Amazing.
Or what I can from it. So that's a piece of cord from that. And that is again from another jacket. So then it gives me a bag.
And so all the pieces that you used
are rescued. Yeah. So nothing except for the thread. Nothing's been bought.
Yeah. Amazing.
I mean, I had to buy
the grommets. Yes.
I was like, why couldn't it be snaps?
Oh.
Why had it to be grommets? The one thing I don't have.
Our Material Whirl spin. Why couldn't you have been snaps?
Now I've got 200 grommets and I don't know.
Well, hopefully they will come in use sometime.
Yeah.
I do feel the same way. I ended up buying a pack and they came in silver and gold. And I was like, oh gosh, now here I have a bunch of grommets. But
because I needed the tool.
Yes.
Because I've got these tools for the snaps, for the plastic, those cam snaps. But I don't have a tool for the grommets. So I had to buy a kit which has the tool. And so then I got 100 of them.
Yes.
Because that's how they come. I was like,
We'll do a little overlay of a video later on. I took a video showing using the tool.
Okay.
Because I think that is maybe not always, I don't know, talked about when you're using grommets.
No.
You don't realize that you can't just buy them. You need the actual tool to get them on.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, it's a specialist way of securing. I think most of the time you see them in outdoor gear, like tent mats and tarpaulin and things like that.
Yeah.
But you don't actually, I mean, you might see it decorative on a handbag, but nobody actually uses it to put on a piece of garment, right?
A lot of times I think about grommets, but they're a lot larger on curtains.
Yes.
And those are used up top.
Yeah.
And I have made a few posts on social media about how I think that when you have those on your curtains, it makes them look like a shower curtain.
They do.
And so my one tip, if you're decorating your home and you want it to look a little bit more chic, stay away from grommet curtains.
I don't like them or the eyelet, the ones with the eyelet one, the loop top ones, because I think they still let a lot of light in. So if you're trying to baby-proof a room and keep it dark, then those curtains don't work.
Yes. Well, we had your big reveal, and now it's time for me to reveal mine. It's very interesting. I mean, we kind of ended up in the same realm.
Okay. I was worried that we were going to make the same thing.
So what I did is I upcycled a bag.
Oh, wow.
I did not sew the bag. I have added my grommets in, and I've used my cotton as turning it into ribbon that goes through. And then I've created a big bow that I put on the bottom. And my chalk was just used to help me mark out all of my grommet positions. I couldn't figure out how else to use the chalk. I've used the chalk. I didn't even use the chalk to make my bow. I just used it to mark out where I wanted them all to be. This week's amount of materials definitely threw me for a loop. I was like, how will I put this chalk in? But I love how you incorporated it as a chalk bag.
As a powder chalk. Yes. I mean, I went with the word, not with the picture.
Yes.
But the picture there, before I read it, I didn't read it properly. I just saw the material and I saw the picture and I was like, oh, it's a crayon. Okay, so I'm going to do a crayon bag, like a holder.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to do. And then when you typed it out saying chalk, I was like, chalk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So
the crayon is more permanent. Like a chalk, when you're using it, it just wipes away.
Does stuff. Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, how do I incorporate this into a project that's going to last or be something? Because it just wipes itself away.
Yeah. I was thinking more like a holder. That's all I could think
and that's
of.
Where your mind went.
Yeah, that's where my mind. I mean, I use chalk all over to mark stuff.
To mark things.
But I was thinking if I was making a chalk bag, I would have made it like a chalk carry bag or a chalk hanging bag. Like kids with black bows and chalk bag. That's where my mind was going. I couldn't think of. I didn't think, how could I paint with this?
You know,
I wouldn't have.
I did start looking into like chalk pens that people use that are a little bit more, they don't wipe away as easily. But I was like, no, I think our wheel this week really wants us to use actual chalk. I have some chalk little marks still left on. But for our viewers who are listening and not watching, to describe my piece a little bit more, it is a crossbody bag that's cheetah print that I've upcycled with gold grommets. And my grommets are the smaller side, maybe like a pinky nail size. And I've placed them, it's so bad, I only know inches, about 1.5 inches apart. I've then turned my quilting cotton into a nice thin strip of ribbon, and I've woven it through all my grommets that go around the perimeter of my bag. And then my big bow is probably about hand size on the bottom, and it's made from a fabric that is kind of floral. It's got blues and pinks and purples and a little bit of greens and oranges, and it kind of sits at the bottom of my bag. So let's talk more just for our viewers who are listening. Your bag is green. I mean, let's talk about the size.
So it's about maybe from your fingertips to your just past your wrist sort of length. And it's a 2-layer bag. So it's got an outer layer which is done with a dark green check fabric, a quilting cotton. So it's a cylinder basically with a circle on the bottom, and it has 2 belt loops. So that you can actually wear it on your hip. And then on the inside, I did it with a brown fabric, which again, rescued. I can have to go with the colors I get. But the fabric is like a cord on the outside. It feels like it's an outdoor jacket sort of fabric, but it's got like a very shiny polyester finish on the inside, and it has a channel through which I put a cord through and a cord stopper. So you can just kind of tighten it. So it's like what you call them, a drawstring.
A drawstring.
A drawstring bag with a cord running through it, with a yellowish coat. And I put grommets on, one on each side, but because I got colorful ones in the packet, I had put a yellow and an orange for no reason, but because I had them.
Amazing, a little pop of color.
And I secured the front and the inside and the outside with a little stitch. I'm thinking I'm going to replace that with a few buttons, a press buttons, so that they can just snap it off and then put it in the wash. And then the bag, actually, it could be used for anything. If you take it out, you could carry anything else in it if you wanted to.
Not just for climbing.
Not just for climbing, but because of the chalk, it had to be a climbing bag.
Yes, I love it. I love that your brain really thought about it. And I feel like this week I maybe gave up a little bit on our chalk material.
No, I think it's hard. It's a hard material.
Yeah, it was
hard.
It's a hard
material.
So I need to know, did you start the project having one vision in mind and then change because of something happening along the way? Or once you decided, was everything smooth going?
So it took me a while to figure out what I was going to make. And then once I had decided, it was just like making it back, putting it together. I had to work out the measurements. So it took me a bit of time to work out. I'm not great at math. I'm only good at sewing math. So I had to work out the circumference of a circle, which matched the width of a rectangle, and then join it up together. That took a bit of time. But no, I didn't. I had one snag. So do you want me to reveal the snag? So I was so busy thinking, I am going to do these grommets. And I just thought, I'll just do it. So I put a channel in. And then I put the grommets through both pieces of the channel and hammered it home. not remembering that the cord needs to go through one of the layers and pop out of the grommet. So I put the grommet through both layers. And so the channel was useless. I couldn't put it through. So then I put a hole on either side for the cord to pop out and then come through the grommet. Yeah. Right. So that was a mistake. That was me being, I know what I'm doing. I'm on the, in the finishing line. I can see the finish line. There. And I'm like, tried to skate through, but no, made a mistake. I think this is why we should be mindful and slow when we are crafting and not.
I actually hadn't used grommets in a long time, and due to a last project of mine where I made a mistake on my final piece, this time I said, Kelly, you're going to test this out on a scrap piece of fabric first to make sure you remember how to put a grommet on. And so we have these little... They're actually samples of like couch fabric, but we use them as coasters. And I just pulled one out and I was like, okay, this is going to be my test. So I tested my grommet on there, and I'm glad I did because I forgot really what to do. Even though putting some of them on my bag, it didn't turn out as polished as I was hoping.
I think the bag fabric's quite thick, isn't it? Because that was also the consideration for the fabric for me, for the inside, that it didn't have to be too thick. Yeah. Because it's like, it's a lot hammering.
And with the grommets, I forgot that you need to cut a hole that's just small enough, or like it has to be just like the perfect size, because if you cut the hole too big, the grommet will and then if you cut it too small, then you won't be able to like punch it through. And so in a few places I felt like I cut it a little bit too big, and it started pulling away, and I got out my hot glue gun to kind of just patch it over a little bit.
So that's the reason why I think grommets are like, it takes a bit of practice to kind of get it right. And I was like,
and I think my first experience with grommets, I think, was with like a leather or a faux leather, which doesn't like fray on the ends and is a little easier to like punch a hole, and then do that. Whereas now using it with this cotton fabric, it frays a little bit more, and I had, especially with this, it has an inner lining, so then I had to make sure that the grommet went through the lining.
So there's multiple layers, which is also hard. And it's also, if the lining is slippy, then it's going to slip and slide. So what I did was I cut a tiny hole, and then I've got a punching thing, a leather punch. So I used that to make the hole a little bit bigger. And then I put the grommet in, and then I realized the fabric, the stand on which it sits. There's a little stand on one of the grommets. Is it the male part of it? I put it through, and the fabric was still there, and I knew that if the fabric's on there, then the washer won't sit on it if you hammer it. So then I just held it in place and then snipped around
there once it was on.
It was on, and then that had to be careful, because if you drop it, you could have snipped a bigger hole. So that was a little bit like snip a bit to see whether it worked, and snip a bit more. So that took me time just to do the two grommets. And I was so focused on getting them right that I forgot that I was putting them through a channel.
Through the channel,
So I was like, I should have done the grommets before I did. Because I finished the whole bag and put the grommets in the last. I was like...
And my advice for somebody at home or new to the crafting world, I wouldn't say be afraid of grommets.
No.
I think that they will polish something, like I said, and make it really nice. But I will say, just practice.
Just like anything else. You'll never get it right the first time. Just practice a few times.
And a lot of times I get like... conscious about my material usage, and I want to get it right on the first time because I don't want to waste something, but sometimes you just have to practice, and then whatever you've practiced on, you can try to reuse or rethink it later on.
Which is also, I'll give another sustainable tip there. Whenever I recycle, if I can use the fabric for something, then I will keep the fabric. So if my son's jogging bottoms go, like the knees are beyond repair, or the trouser bum's gone, or whatever, I won't throw the whole thing. I will keep the fabric because I can harvest some of the pieces of fabric. And so that will be my practice. So if I'm practicing, then I can practice on that.
Something. That's like, already feeling like scrap of
some sort. Exactly. And then you're not feeling too guilty about having a go at it. Right? Yeah. Or old duvet covers.
Yeah.
All that I keep. Old duvet sheets, flat sheets. I keep all of that. I never know when I'll need it. So I'm a hoarder.
Yes.
Sorry.
I think being a crafter is also a hoarder at some point.
Yeah.
But it's a hoarding in a way of you'll just maybe need it one day.
That's what I keep saying.
Yeah.
My husband doesn't seem to understand that.
Yes, it's a very interesting mindset because I know what you mean.
Yeah.
We know what each other means. But yeah, when you come across people who aren't crafting, they're like, well, why do you need that paper tube? And you're like, what do you mean? Of course I need this.
Exactly. There's a project there. I just can't figure out what, but it'll come in handy one day.
And it's probably project number 37 on my 45 project long list, but one day I will need it.
Yeah, and I've got loads of stuff like that. You know those bread things that come up with, and then there's this little plastic clip that goes to secure the.
Yes.
I've got a collection of them. I don't know what to do with them, but I've got them. One day they'll come in handy.
Yes.
So, and then these kind of kind of cord stoppers, you can usually find them on the street because somebody's jacket's fallen apart.
Yeah.
If I find them, I'll pick them up. And it'll come in handy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's how I have a collection of these.
Yeah. And
all sorts of odds and ends and bits.
Certain things like that aren't cheap either to buy.
No, but you have to buy a lot.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So salvaging things from old pieces. I highly recommend if you're getting into crafting, start out by seeing what you already have around the house and what you can help and fix and mend. All right, so we've revealed our project and now a signature question. If you had a fourth material, what would you have added into your project?
I think maybe those straps, those black ribbing straps, because that could have been like I could have put it through that, and or the other thing that I would have added is the car burner locks.
Oh yeah.
Because then I can clip it on.
Yeah.
So I would have put a little keychain hanger on it, and then you can just hang it rather than on belt loops. That's what I would have done. But because I wanted to not use too much mixed materials at all, I'll do it as belt loops.
Yeah. I think for mine, I'm happy that I used the cotton to then create my ribbon. But it might have been fun to just have a velvet ribbon and I don't know, something like that. But I'm pretty excited about using it. And I think that now my husband was like, oh, is this going to be the little bag on the end of our pram for our baby that's on the way? And I was like, oh yeah, maybe. Like, it's a pretty bag. Yeah, it's a pretty deep bag that I could get some things in and hang it on the edge of the stroller. I love mixed materials, so I'm like, ooh, a velvet could be nice to add in.
Yeah, velvet would have been nice. Even some buttons and beads on the on the bow.
Yeah. I also thought about possibly replacing this strap later on. I mean, it's fine, but I was like, oh, I could add maybe more color and more personality if it was not just a black nylon strap. But maybe this is the strap you needed for yours.
Project.
Yeah. That's too funny. Yeah, that's exactly what you were just saying.
Yeah, so if you had more of the fabric, the printed fabric for the bow, that could be the handle, and that would have kind of maybe bring it all together cohesively. Yeah.
I'm definitely all about creating something that's more unique and personalized towards you. And I know that probably wouldn't be everyone's fashion sense, but that would be mine. I would love to have an over-the-top bag that has some type of like frilly handle that comes around that maybe some people would say clashed with the cheetah, but in my head, they all work together.
They all worked. So that's project number 51.
Yes. I'll add it to the list. New strap for my bag. Yes. Well, we've revealed our materials. We've revealed our projects. We've talked through our process. And now it is time for our craft superlative game. So are you ready? We're going to try to do this a little bit rapid fire.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you a few questions and you're going to come up with a craft supply that you think fits that question.
Okay, I'll try my best. I'm a little nervous now.
So our craft superlatives, our first one, most likely to clog a vacuum cleaner.
Loose threads.
Yes. Getting it caught in all the little wheels.
All the brushes on the bottom.
Yes. Craft supply that's most likely to cause sticky fingerprints on your phone.
Hot glue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a glue.
Just the glue.
Most likely to be sold in large quantities.
Most likely to be sold. Can I say grommets?
Yes. Our material this week, definitely. Most likely to end up in places that you weren't crafting.
My pens. My sewing pens, they end up all through the house. And my son keeps finding them. Mommy, you found one more. I'm like, oops. Well, how did it get there?
You were doing something, you had it in your hand.
Yeah.
You went somewhere
Usually
else.
I have them pinned on because I'm constantly pinning stuff. I usually have it pinned around my neckline.
Yeah.
And when I'm doing stuff, it might have fallen in and it would have spread around the house.
Most likely to make you feel like Martha Stewart.
I don't know, I don't scam. So. Sorry. Most likely when I'm trying a craft that I've never tried before. Like if somebody suddenly gave me some kit and I'm like,
that brings on Martha Stewart vibes. Most likely to give you deja vu from art class in school.
Vegetable printing.
Oh.
We used to do a lot of that. Like I used to cut okra. Lady's finger in some countries, and then we would dip it in paint and then do fabric painting. Yeah, that's definitely.
The thing that came to my mind was tempera paint and the paints that come in those really big tubs, and it has that certain smell to it. I'm like, oh, that reminds me of art class in school. Kavitha, it was so nice having you on the podcast today. I am so impressed by what you created, and I loved how you used your creativity to figure out something that could be the material in use, which no one has ever done before on the podcast. So I very much appreciate it. And I just love your mission of inspiring people to slow down and use creativity and to practice a new skill, or bringing something back from that we said has been a skill that has been taken away from us, bringing it back so people can learn about it again. So if you're interested in learning more about sewing classes or anything mending, please follow Kavitha at
Isifiso Clothing.
Isifiso Clothing. We're going to put it on the screen as well. And since I had to ask how to pronounce it, tell us a little bit more how that word came about.
Okay, so Isifiso is actually a Zulu word, and they say it as Isifiso with a P. It means hope or destiny, and I think it's a word that can mean a lot of things depending on the context. I chose it because I wanted something close to my culture, which sounded like karma, which meant the same as karma, because I'm a circular business. Yes. So the fabrics always have a destiny, and I'm kind of rewriting the destination for it in some ways I rescue it. And so there is hope for it, there's destiny. So that was the reason why, and what goes around comes around is the karma. Yeah. So that's the reason I wanted a name that's fitted that. And because just about everybody has got karma something, I didn't want to go with karma. So I went and found this. So I came up with the name Isifiso, one of the hardest names to pronounce.
Yes, but the meaning behind it is just so genuine, and sharing the story about it with me before we started recording, I loved it, and so I really wanted to share it with everyone here. So again, we'll have it on the screen. Please follow and look at all the good sewing and mending tips. And for our listeners, if you're up for this week's challenge, I would love to see what you could create. We did quilting cotton, grommets, and chalk. So if you are taking on this week's challenge, please hashtag Material Whirl or add us at Material Whirl Podcast. I would love to see what you came up with. Thank you so much for being a part of our crafting chaos. We will see you next spin. This episode was created using some of our favorite Google products. The Google Pixel 9 Pro is what is recording us today. The Google Pixel tablet is what I have my notes on. And of course, the Google Suite and Gemini help me stay prepared and ready for each episode.